Hello, Internet! I'm Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus, and welcome to the conclusion of The Gunslinger by Stephen King. You heard me right! We're concluding this book right now. This is the final story, called The Gunslinger and the Dark Man. If you remember from the end of the last story, the Gunslinger followed the Dark Man out of the dark world and left Jake to hang. This story has him going far off and setting up a campsite in the death grounds of animals. There's this hilarious bit where the Dark Man says, "Oh, would you like a fire?" And he does this magical arm lifting thing and this fire erupts and he's like, "You know, I had matches, but I thought you'd like to see that instead." The more and more interaction that we have with the Dark Man, the more and more I like him, which is bad. Probably. I'm a messed up individual. Anyways, the Gunslinger and the Dark Man sit down at the campfire to eat. The Dark Man starts shuffling tarot cards, and he gives the Gunslinger a tarot reading. And it's just a bunch of confusing garbage. And I don't want to hear about how it pays off in 5 books, because I read the afterword that Stephen King wrote at the end of this book. He even says in the afterword, he didn't know where this was going. He didn't know where the story was taking him. So I don't want to hear some nonsense about how this confusing tarot reading pays off later, because Stephen King didn't even know at that point. It was just a bunch of gobbledegook. Then the Gunslinger has a dream about ascending universes. Don't want to hear it, Internet. Do not care. It was a weird dream of nothing. He was ascending universes. That's it. He basically saw the vastness of the universe, and it ended on a blade of grass which is purple. Someone collect all my hairs! The Dark Man and the Gunslinger talk some more, and it's basically just like the wise man talking to a student and saying absolutely nothing. It's no. You had this brilliance with the Oracle in the mountain, and then you leave us with this? Seriously? No. The Dark Man reveals himself to be someone from the Gunslinger's past. He reveals himself to be one of, I guess, the henchmen of the large imposing man that was standing over Roland's grandmother that inspired him to take on court. I don't even remember any mention of this man. It was basically like Stephen King was like, I gotta wrap this up, I gotta fix this real quick, so this guy is part of this group that we are just going to start mentioning now. And it's like, okay. Again, I don't want to hear about how it pays off in 5 books, because we're reading this book right now, and I haven't read those 5 books. Just this one. Don't care about those 5 books. And then the Dark Man says, okay, I'm done talking to you. Let there be light. And that was kind of like the phrase that he had during the Gunslinger's dream that let him ascend to different universes. And when he says, let there be light, the Gunslinger wakes up 10 years into the future for no reason whatsoever. The fire that was burning has turned into ironwood, and the Dark Man is a skeleton, so the Dark Man is dead. Really? I want to throw you into a fire. Really? That's pretty much where the book ends. Roland wakes up 10 years into the future and says, okay, I have to go see the Dark Tower now. I read the afterword, and Stephen King basically says, I've been writing this story for 12 years. 12 years! And this is what he has. And he has this whole story about, green paper, and it's kind of funny. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty much Stephen King's wheelhouse. And like I said before, he says, I have no idea where this story is going because I think outlines are for wimps and wussies. A real writer just sits and tells a story and doesn't know where it's going. Jerk. So all of those comments about how, what Roland did in the first story pays off 5 books later, that afterword pretty much invalidates that argument because he didn't know it at the time of writing it. Anything that you say about how all of the mystical gobbledegook that the Dark Man said in the last story pays off 5 books later, that's all invalidated because Stephen King didn't know then. He just told us that he didn't know. And I'm going off of what Stephen King wrote, and it's gobbledegook garbage. I do not have a question for you because this is the end of the book. The question that I had yesterday was, what is your favorite cheesy ripoff monster? And for me, I have to go with Deadites from Evil Dead, because Deadites are hilarious versions of people who need an exorcism. It's Awesome. Do not forget that the next book that I will be reading is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Go out and grab it by any legal means necessary. Borrow it from a friend, borrow it from a library, buy it at a bookstore, buy it on a Kindle. I don't care what you do as long as it's legal and you read it before I ruin it for you. I've been Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus reminding you to watch Epidemeridius, and I will see you all in my spoiler-free review of The Gunslinger by Stephen King. Toodles!